Perfect. Okay, now we're recording. All right, so thanks again for being here. Go ahead and continue to share those things in the chat. So where do you come, what university, how you got connected, and the funniest thing a student has said during one of your sessions. And I like a good agenda. So what we'll do today is you'll hear a little bit from our boss, Andrew Feil, our executive director, to share a bigger picture about what ENP is doing across Fresno. So you play an important role in classrooms, but we want you to hear about the bigger picture of ENP work as well. And then we'll share about a Google Classroom, a new way that you can learn more about ENP and also get some service hours, a chance to meet other mentors, and then we'll share some volunteer opportunities coming up this month, and then also allow space for Q&A. So feel free to type in the chat, or you can also just unmute yourself and interrupt us at any point if you have some questions. All right, so Andrew, you want to go ahead and take it away?
Yes. Hey, everybody. If you didn't see the chat, make sure to check that out. Ryan had a funny comment there. My name is Andrew Feil. I am, as of September, I took over as the executive director from the founder, Artie Padilla, in September. So I've been with ENP for about 4 years and wanted to just give you a little kind of context. Like, you all are intersecting us in one of our buckets, right? One of the programs we run. ENP has had about a 12-year history. We launched originally as there's a group of churches that were trying to figure out how to serve and bless elementary schools. So that was kind of our original start, and we were matching churches to serve at schools. And through that kind of journey, you recognize, like, we can connect anybody to a church, and so or to an elementary school. So our goal now is really to partner churches, but then Fresno State, a business, anybody that wants to be a blessing in an elementary school, we're going to connect them to serve those kids, the students, and the actual neighborhood of that community. So that's going to be parents, it's going to be residents. ENP really thinks about place. That place matters and place shapes us. Janessa, would you put up that first slide? So this is kind of like, as you step back and think about, like, what is our goal? We want to really see a city where everybody has equitable opportunity, that everybody has the same educational, the health, the economic opportunities exist for everybody. If you know any data about Fresno, that is not currently the case, right? We call it a tale of two cities, or there's just people in the north or in Clovis that have access to resources actually have longer lifespans, that their actual, like, the amount of money they can make in a lifetime is actually based on your geography. And that's just, like, that's unfortunate. That shouldn't be the case. So we're going to think about place. We think about the built environment, like, are there streets? What kind of road infrastructure is there? What kind of buildings exist? What kind of access, like grocery stores? Are there grocery stores in this neighborhood, or banks, or payday lenders, right? And then we're always thinking about the people. It's all centered around the people. So we want to invest in these kids as young kids, right? Give them educational opportunities. You all are mentors. Like, you get to say, I believe in you. You're going to do amazing things. And then we're going to invest in the residents of that place, of the leaders that already exist. So that's kind of one of the views. Keep going there, Janessa. We know, keep going ahead to some of the pictures of ENP. Yeah, so we do, as you think about some of the other buckets of ENP, right? So you're again in literacy and these Read Fresno, kind of thinking about working with kids and their literacy skills. We started, and the program we have that's on hold because of COVID is Saturday Sports. It's a recreation program where kids get to play, mentors get to come alongside of them. Some of you have been literacy mentors. But we've also done different types of, like, activity kind of sports. So we actually have drumming as a resource that you can connect your hands and your emotions. And we've recognized that sports and play is actually skill building. It's resilience building. So that's one of the programs we offer. It's currently kind of on hold because of COVID. Next slide. You're again, working with our literacy program. We also just place volunteers in the classroom. So, we have this focused kind of thing. And then you also have other kind of ways you can serve on a school campus. You could run a mentoring program. You could serve in the front office. Like there's different ways you can volunteer in a classroom. And then of course, literacy. Next slide. As I mentioned, we work with the residents. This is a picture from Leavenworth Elementary where some of our staff were engaging the parents there, and the parents just said, like, people are just flying around our neighborhood. Every morning as we're outside, they are not paying attention to stop signs. They're not slowing down. And so we as parents want to do an awareness campaign. So we worked with parents to, every one of the corners around the school, they had big signs. We had banners, they were passing out flyers. So it was a way to empower the parents to say, your voice matters, your leadership here matters. And that could be something that's simple on the school campus, or it could be them, going to city council to talk about landlord issues and slumlords. It could be them looking at their sidewalks in their neighborhood and saying like, hey, how do we report this sidewalk to some parents? So one of the programs we currently have going is actually what we call like a community health worker promotor model, where we actually have some staff that are working with residents, just let them know about health outcomes and how they can be healthier, how they can fight diabetes. So it's both like this kid side and then also a resident leadership side. Next. And then finally, training. ENP does a ton of workshops. So right now, right as we're speaking, there's actually a class going on in Spanish called Digital Literacy. And it's a class for residents in our community to learn how to use a computer. I mean, for you all and for myself, like sending emails is second nature. I'm doing it, unfortunately, all day. But for some of our residents, like to open an email, to find an email, to create an email, open an email, send an email, that's something they've never really done. So that's a class to do that. Or we have classes on, we have another staff doing a class today on resident development. And so they're teaching another group how to do resident engagement and training. So ENP does a ton of workshops and different kind of classes. So I think that was it. Yeah, so that's just out of broader scope. So I think I just wanted you all to hear on our end as ENP, man, we love working with Fresno State. You all really, people say it and it's cheesy, but you're the next generation of leaders in our community. So these types of experiences you're getting with literacy mentoring help, I think, for you know and clarify like your long-term vision for your own life. But then they just give you a sense of like, what are kids in our families? What are they going through? How do I be a leader in our community that thinks not just about the kid, but thinks about the neighborhood, thinks about our laws? Like, how does this all play together? Because we know Fresno's hurting. We know Fresno doesn't have the outcomes we want. But in small ways, small conversations, an hour with a kid, like you are making a difference and you're impacting the current reality of Fresno and the future reality of Fresno. So ENP is just glad to intersect in your life. I'm glad to have you here and learning a little bit more about our city and coming along alongside our kids. So thank you so much. One of the resources that we're going to roll out, Janessa, have you already shared that, emailed it to folks?
No, this is all brand new. So
okay, all brand new. So something that we have been creating just as a resource for you. I know as students come on with ENP, you're engaging the kids, and so we have a lot of training and resources, but we wanted to just put together some other resources for you to learn about ENP or learn about our city. So we have a Google Classroom that when we'll post the link in the chat, and then we'll also email the Google Classroom to you, and you'll be able to see under the classwork just some different sections. So the different kind of buckets of ENP, there'll be different articles or resources there for you, where you can kind of just learn about what we're doing. And that can also count towards any of your hours. So if some of you are doing assignments, either as part of a class and an internship, or if you're doing this for Read Fresno, these types of learning are part of your class time, right? You're getting a new skill, a new resource. So I would just count those into your hours as well. And that just helps you kind of know what's going on. We'll also be posting different kind of things that are happening. So, hey, there's a food distribution. Here's the food distribution schedule for March. If you're needing a place to get extra hours or get connected to something, we'll just keep posting stuff on that Google Classroom. So think of it like a storage to learn more, and a place to feel more connected to the work of, that ENP is doing in our community. So yeah, again, so glad to be, I'll be hanging out. I'll stay on the call if there's any questions, or if you want to know more about what you're doing. ENP is always also a place as you have other classes and you need other kind of, internship or group projects. I know right now we have an honors program working with us at Fresno State. We have marketing groups working with us. Obviously, you all are working with us. So ENP loves working with college students and partnering together. So anyways, glad to be with you.
Perfect. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah. Any questions or on like the bigger picture of ENP, or any feedback or questions at this moment? And also too on the Google Classroom. So this is I have never done Google Classroom before, so we're learning too, but I'll be sharing the link out later, and then you can kind of scroll through it. And like Andrew mentioned, use it as a resource. Like, don't feel like you have to complete all of it, but if you'd like to do parts of it, that can count towards your hours. And I see your hand, Ryan.
Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot of volunteer opportunities through ENP. Are there any employment opportunities here as well?
Yeah, we are not currently, ENP is not actively hiring at the moment, but we do on our blog, on our website, we have a blog post that we try to keep active with different, because a lot of organizations, since we're really well connected to the community, a lot of organizations often reach out to us and say, hey, we have a job opening, can you share it? And so we've been trying to keep that blog post up to date and active with current job opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Erica or Andrew, we can stick in the chat. That.
And Ryan, are you you're with Professor or Dr. Nee, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Erica, do you want to give a snapshot of what Read Fresno is?
Hi, yeah, sure, Andrew. Well, Ryan, I'm not sure if you're an undergraduate or a graduate student, but Read Fresno is for our current graduate or undergraduate students who are employed through work study. So they do this for federal work study hours, which is why this focuses on literacy. But Read Fresno is really connected pretty well to what Janessa is doing with literacy mentoring. So it just really depends on if you fall within that category, but we're always hiring in the summer for the full academic year.
Okay. Yeah, I'm an undergrad, so I think that applies to me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, you'll see a lot of that information coming out later this semester, right before you all go off on your summer vacation. And then we'll also have it posted again early fall when you return to the classroom.
Awesome. And so is it only available to because I'll be graduating this semester. So is it only available to undergrads?
Correct. Yeah, it is only available to undergraduate students during their time while enrolled at Fresno State.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I get a call, does that go away? Did it all cut you off? No, we're good. Okay.
I see that Jocelyn's calling though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I need to check in on these things. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Good question and good answers, Erica and Andrew. Thank you. Anyone else? I saw your sweet comment, Ashley. Thank you for your affirmation, and we're glad to have you with us this semester too. All right. Well, I also think one of the best parts about getting together like this is getting to talk with other mentors. And so here's a few questions to kind of guide your conversation. What I'll do is I'll just put us into smaller breakout rooms, maybe like 3 or 4 people a group, and just give you like 5-10 minutes to chat through some of these questions, or just overall about your experience so far. I think everyone on here has at least started with kids. I might be wrong, but so some of you have been with us longer than others, so you might have a little more wisdom to share. But thinking through your time working with kids virtually, like what's been your favorite part so far? What has been the most challenging? What's worked well for you to keep kids engaged? Because we all know online, it's easy to lose attention, even as adults. So how has that worked well? Like what have you done that's helped you to keep them engaged? And then what resources or games have been working well for you? And those can be ones you've been using from our website. You just want to like let other people in your group know, or if you found outside stuff too, you can share that. So Erica, do you want to copy? We'll let you copy and paste to put that in the chat so those questions don't go away when we make, I know when we make groups, it goes away. I'll pop back in. If anyone would like to share out loud, if anyone, they learned something from someone else. Yeah, if you'd like to answer any of these questions about yourself or what you also heard from somebody else, feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and share out loud.
I think Erica was about to share something good with me. We kind of got kicked out of the breakout room.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to try to type it up in the chat, but this could be something that Janessa, you can probably add as well. But Ryan was just sharing about when you're working with a student who might feel like they're not engaged with the material because they think it's either too easy for them, or it's kind of like, in a way, Ryan used like the word demeaning, right? Like it's showing like maybe they're not capable of doing it, but we like want to show them they are capable of doing something. So how would you handle approaching activities that you plan out for that type of student?
Yeah, you mean like kids who they're old enough to realize like this stuff looks too babyish for me, basically.
Yeah, in a way. And Ryan, you can add to that as well.
Yeah, so basically what was happening was I was trying to find new material to work with one of my kids because he didn't seem as engaged with the stuff I had tried so far. So I tried some of these worksheets using sight words that when I read off the list, it seemed like they were at his level. But I think he thought the worksheets were too easy. And he actually said to me, he's like, you guys think that I'm dumb. And that made me feel really bad, because we don't think he's dumb. We're just trying to find how to get him to improve in a way that's fun. And I don't think that was fun. What we were doing before didn't seem to be working either. So we were a bit in like a tough position. I just emailed you about this too. So I'm glad we got to meet here and talk about it a bit too.
Yeah. No, that's tough because you are working with kids, especially as their work is behind, like they're on like a kindergarten level,
Right.
Nice part about one-on-one is they don't have another kid to compare themselves with, but they've still probably reached this point in their normal class where they're like, yeah, I can't read like the other kids. So I think in that situation, I think I would also tell the kid, oh, I'm new to teaching too. Like, I'm still trying to figure this out. Like, I use this with another kid, but you're right. Maybe this is too easy for you. Like, I was just, trying it out. And then,
yeah.
So to let him know, like, maybe I made a mistake. You might be right.
And I did. I said, you know what? I'm sorry. This is too easy for you. We're trying to figure it out here together. But thank you for, letting me know because I need your feedback too.
Yeah. And then maybe it's hard because all the worksheets that you pull up, they do look kind of babyish. I get that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if trying to create, and that's making more work, but trying to even just typing out simple sentences and things that incorporate the words he needs to work on, but like you typing those sentences or, so you're not it won't look as babyish. Do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah,
type out the
totally.
sentence, like now let's draw a picture to go with this sentence. And that's, or, you know, like, or now you circle the word, you know, and it doesn't look as young, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I see, Ashley, do you have thoughts to add?
Yeah, I actually ran into that with all of my students. So what I started doing was building that rapport is really important because if they're not interested in what you're talking about, they're not going to be paying attention. So I have figured out, well, say for an example, one of my students really likes animals. So I've been writing down sentences, like just random sentences about his animals and what he has told me, what we've talked about, different animals. And I'll include words on a list, you know, the easier words to see where he's at if he does know those words. I'm able to cross them off that way a lot quicker. Another thing that I do is like the speed reading the lists, and I challenge them to see if they can beat me. And obviously I let them beat me most of the time.
Yeah.
And so that's a really fun way also to get them, like, where you see that they know that whole list already. It's like fun, we'll get it out of the way, we'll start working on things that, you know, they actually need to work on. And then I was gonna say the other thing that I've been doing is I'll have them write sentences for me. So, sorry, not sentences, words for me. And it's kind of like a word scramble, and they try to trick me to see if I know what that word is. And then it's a lot of like, I'm going to trick you, no, I'm going to trick you type of thing. And they think
Yeah.
it's hilarious. So maybe try those things. I've had success with that too.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and just building on little successes, you know, I'm sure you're all doing that, but like, wow, you didn't know this word last week. Like, look at, you remembered that word from last week. And even if it's, so trying to help make them realize their own success too. Like they did learn, you know, they read one more sentence than they read last week. They knew one more word than they knew last week. But we'll keep chatting. Since you emailed Ryan, I'll see what else, if I have any other thoughts. Anyone else have anything you want to share to that question or other questions?
I've found that if they're like getting easily distracted, just like talking to them, just like letting the session go outside of what you had planned, just like let them keep talking, and then just kind of slowly like reintroduce them back to the topic has been working for me, because the student I work with loves talking a lot. So I can just kind of let her go on a little bit, and then that makes her seem like she's like in control of the session, and then I kind of slowly reintroduce it back like to the words, and I'll only pick a couple words to learn a session. That's worked for me.
Yeah.
Also, I think not including a lot of material like in one session, maybe just limiting it to like 2 or 3 letters or 2 or 3 words instead of like 5 or 6. Like just focusing on 2 or 3 sometimes helps with me or with my kid, because she'll either be too tired or just doesn't, she'll want to talk, as you said, Ethan, instead of like reading or practicing. So she'll want to tell me about her day, about her class and stuff. But I'll have her like think of a letter and draw an animal associated with that letter. So that'll have her like make that connection. So she'll draw like a horse or like an apple or something to associate it with that letter.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and you both bring up good points too, of just letting the kid be in charge in some way, you know, or letting them feel that way. So I wonder too, with kids who feel like this is too easy, you know, I don't like, this is a too easy way to practice the word was, or whatever it is, like asking them, oh, well, this is the word we're going to work on. Like, how do you want to practice it? Like, do you have an idea of a game you want to play? And like letting them, you know, you know the focus of what word or what letters you're working on, but letting them be the ones to kind of come up with how they want to practice might make them feel like it's not as babyish or as boring.
I just want to say really quickly, I'm studying right now, and we've actually, this last week, we were talking about working in collaboration with youth, and how that actually is more impactful and how they remember things and learn things better that way. So like learning through experience. And I thought it was really interesting. I started implementing some of that into my sessions, and yeah, they're like way more engaged. I'm able to see that they're retaining more things. So it's interesting, you know, that collaboration really does help.
And how do you set that up, Ashley, the collaboration? Like,
A lot of it is just a lot of rapport building and me writing things down about each of my students, like trying to, you know, see what they're interested in and then bringing it up in different ways. I have one student that is so excited about the King Kong versus Godzilla movie that's coming out on the 31st. And so I'll write sentences to see, you know, where he's at, like I was talking about. And then as a reward, we kind of will watch like parts of the trailer, and then he'll talk about like, this is what's going on. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I act really interested in it too. And then there's like some of my other kids, so they kind of let me know like what they're interested in. One of them actually told me, can we play board games? Can you make a board game for me? So like, it's just more of that, like introducing yourself as like the all fun, you know, person that's going to bring good things, or else it's going to be, why are they going to talk to us?
awesome. Thank you all. I feel like I'm learning things too. We have a good crew here. So thank you for sharing. Any final thoughts on any of those questions or these questions up here?
I really wanted to talk about like some of our challenges, like what we find most challenging and how we're overcoming those things. Because I think for the most part, I've had a pretty good, you know, time engaging my kids, but I feel like sometimes it takes a little work, right? So I don't know what other challenges we're coming across.
A lot of work, as in like a lot of prep time, you're saying, or?
Yeah, it's a lot of prepping. It's a lot of like, well, like I said, I'm constantly writing things down that my kids are saying during session, because those are the things that they're interested in. Those are the ways that we're gonna, you know, engage them in a way that's impactful and meaningful to them. So yeah, I think so. Probably my biggest challenge has been like finding those things that are truly important to them, rather than just like, oh, my cousin said this, like, what is this? What is this, right? So like things that they're actually interested in.
Like strong reinforcers.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of my students that likes animals, we've been talking about like different types of occupations that have to do with animals, like marine biology, what is it?
Zoology.
Zoology, like those types of things, zookeeping, like those types of things, or vets, you know, being able to engage them that way. And it's like, it's something that's going to be beneficial for their future, that they can start thinking about like, oh, do I really like this? But yeah, I kind of just wanted to know if anyone else is having, you know, similar troubles or something else that has been challenging, and how they are overcoming those things.
I would actually say one of the, I guess, most consistent challenges that we've had so far has just been with internet connectivity from the other students. I mean, we are working with like a lot of disadvantaged kids. I don't think they have like stable internet connections. Either that, or there are many students in their home all doing something at once, so it's just kind of overwhelming the network. Like just our other session today, we almost did nothing because once we finally got on the connection, I was trying to share my screen so we could start working on stuff, and he couldn't see my screen. It would like load and then it'd freeze, and then we just couldn't get anything done. And we would try, which does help sometimes. We'll turn off our cameras, and then it's less intense on the internet. But that's not for, that's not going to work for everybody. It still wouldn't let us share our screens, so that didn't help completely. Yeah.
Have you tried switching the browser that you're using? Because I was having issues with connectivity and audio and getting video, but I was using Chrome, and then I switched to Safari, and that fixed the problem. So I haven't had any like technical issues so far.
Okay. I
Uh,
haven't. That's interesting.
So try that. I tried getting in contact with the Tutorfly people, but they got back to me like 2 days later.
Yeah.
So that didn't really help out. But try that and see if that makes any difference.
And to clarify, so some of you all meet on Tutorfly and some of you meet on Microsoft Teams. So like I know Milka's on Tutorfly and Ryan's on Teams.
Yeah.
And they both have their pros and cons. So, anyway, so some tips, but I think in general, those are still
Yeah.
tips. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, would there be a way that like maybe this program would be able to like fundraise money to get like hotspots for certain kids? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, so I know the district is providing hotspots. I honestly don't know what the rollout has been like. I think it varies like school to school, and how much the parent like asks for it and comes like it's definitely available. I don't know that the school is making sure to like drop one off for each kid. Do you know what I mean? So if you talk to a family that could really use a hotspot, let us know and we can work with the school either to get them one or we'll make it, we can help make it happen.
Yeah, they should be able. Yeah, that'd be right, Janessa. They should be able. The school has the hotspots. They have the computers, so the hardware is there. But often, like there is a gap between them knowing it's available and it getting to their house. So yeah, that's a great question. Just to say, like, hey, what Wi-Fi do you connect, or how do you connect the internet? And then the school, the parent could go pick it up, or even if that's maybe that's an issue, maybe you or ENP could go pick it up and deliver.
Can I also add something? Sorry. So going on off of that, do you think that a lot of the schools offer like headphones too? Because as we were talking in our breakout room, one of the main challenges we've had is like noise distractions around the students, because our students, like they're trying to focus, but their home environment gets in the way. So maybe like supplying them with headphones, they'll try to like block out the rest of what's going on in their home.
Yeah, and so the school also, from what I know, does have headphones for all the kids. I think at one point all the kids probably had a headphone and they probably lost them or broke them, depending on the home and everything. So again, I think the school would be able to provide more headphones for the family, but we could help facilitate that. Like if they can't pick it up, or Ryan had reached out about that and we actually ordered some headphones too and a mouse. Anyways, so we could help facilitate that too, like help get some headphones too.
Janessa, Goal 2 will buy us and give us headphones. So I could even place an order and go pick them up from Fresno Unified, and then we could have some at the office or something like that, if that would work.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
They have like over the ear ones.
Yeah. And we're gonna probably do, a few of you were with us last semester, like Milka, I think you dropped one off. We're gonna try to do bags again this semester. So in a few weeks, I'll be emailing you, and the idea is that you come pick up a bag from our office of like different supplies that the kids could use, like a dice and like a whiteboard and like different little supplies that would help facilitate your lessons. Again, they'll probably lose some of it, but at least they got it. And we could put the headphones in there too as a part of that bag. So you would help like put the bag together at our office and then drive it to the kid's house to drop off at the front.
Yeah, I think headphones would definitely be helpful. And for some of my kids, I've found that when trying to do on-screen stuff, they struggle to do it well with their trackpad on their laptops. So that's why I was trying to get computer mice for a couple of them. So if that's possible too, computer mice are, a few dollars, probably as much or even less than earphones, like good headphones. So that would be a good supply option too, I would think.
Yeah, Andrew, maybe add that to you got it. Okay, let's see the chat.
Going back to what Ryan said, if there's ever like a time that we are disconnected or there's, some connection problems, are we able to like call the parent and maybe try to have session over the phone, or is that just depending on like each family?
I know I've heard of people doing that. This was more on Tutorfly. They had like an audio issue and then they called the parent and they saw each other on Tutorfly and they just talked on the phone on speakerphone. So it works. Like if the parent's, you know, on board with that and doesn't need their phone for that bit of time, we're fine with it as long as they're fine with it too.
Yeah, I've had multiple occasions where I've had to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, and know that it's not just you all. Another student, a mentor reached out because a couple days in a row, they couldn't hear the kid. They could see the kid, but they just couldn't hear, and the kid could hear them, but they couldn't hear the student. And so I emailed the teacher and she's like, oh yeah, we've had the same problem in class. And so it's been like multiple days of this student in class not being able to be heard by her teacher. Like, so there's just, you know, it's not just you all. There's tech issues in their class time too. And so that's why I think also that mentor reaching out or asking for help put it on the teacher's radar too, even more so because she's with, you know, 25 kids. She doesn't always pick up on every little thing. So we're glad that you all help fill in that gap. All right. Well, this was great conversation. I appreciate all the different ideas and feedback. We have a few more slides to get through, so we'll roll through those. I just wanted to remind you, as you're looking for things, don't forget, so on our, you know, our main website, the everyneighborhood.org virtual literacy mentoring, if you scroll down that one and then you click on play, that's where it takes you to this web page that we keep adding stuff to it. So if you scroll down on this web page, there's different tabs, and even underneath each tab, we keep adding resources. So always take a look back there like every month or so and see if there's maybe some new videos that work well for you or PDFs or so don't feel, I know I talked to one mentor and she's like, I forgot, that's right, I've been trying to find it all by myself. So don't forget that's there for you, that you can hopefully find some things that'll work well for you. And then also a lot of what came on that website was from other mentors who shared with me like this activity is working really well. Some have even found stuff on Teachers Pay Teachers and they'll email me and say, hey, can I use this? Will you buy it? And we have money in the budget. So if you find something awesome that you like on Teachers Pay Teachers want to buy, let me know. And more than likely we can buy it for you and you can use that too. So don't forget there's stuff and you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All right, so moving into, I know we just also wanted to share like overall to help you get your hours. That's part of why you're with us, is getting your hours for something most likely. So we wanted to share some other volunteer opportunities outside of literacy mentoring, so that you can, some are with ENP, some are with other organizations, so that you can like learn more about Fresno in general. Andrew, you want to share real fast about this on Saturday?
Yes. So on Saturday, ENP operates a separate website called Serve Fresno. And the goal of it was obviously, right, ENP, you can work with us. But our goal is to get people partnering across every neighborhood partnership. So we created a website called Serve Fresno. So you can always find Serve projects there. And then there is this Saturday, this Sunday, especially this Sunday, there's a church doing a bunch of service projects. Some of them are cleanups. I think there's like 150 spots still open for this Sunday. So you could feel free to join in there. And then another one, so that's surffresno.org. Did you have a slide too for Beautify? Yeah. So another resource, I'll put their Facebook page in because that's where they put a lot of their service opportunities. Beautify Fresno. But there is a new organization in town called Beautify Fresno, and they have, I don't even know if you guys have Facebook. Is that how old I am? But on Beautify Fresno, is it's a city of Fresno has now like a new outreach, and they're doing street cleanups. So the main idea is like, hey, if we want people to love and invest in Fresno, we have to keep it beautiful. And so the city they're typically about every 2 weeks they're doing a cleanup. I know there's one this Saturday along Blackstone. So yeah, you can feel free to check out those and find those opportunities as well. And then, thanks, Erica. She put the Twitter link there. So those are a couple of great opportunity and places where you can just find easy plug and play opportunities if you need some more hours or need something to share with a friend.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Another one. So we shared with staff, we have basically some staff could use some extra help too. So our admin, Gabrielle, if you happen to be free Wednesdays, 8 to 12, and this would be like any Wednesday, the upcoming semester, if you would meet her at our North office to help her with like some filing, some scanning, some printing, she said, just give her an email. So if Wednesday mornings work for you and you'd like to come one Wednesday and get like 3 to 4 hours, email her and she'll help you set that up. Also, another of our staff members is pretty well connected at Lowell CDC. So there's a Lowell Elementary School downtown, and that they have a community development group, and they're just also always looking for volunteers. So she shared, especially Wednesday mornings again, they could use help with their food distribution. And then they're also looking for people to help with social media. She sent a few other opportunities too. So feel free to just email, if you just email info@lowellcdc.org saying like, hey, I'd like to help with volunteer, they can send you some other upcoming things as well. You've probably heard about the food distributions from the initial orientation, but just a reminder that these are also on servefresno.org. That'll have the link to all these different upcoming dates in March, April, and May. Those are just a quick one-time, not a long-term commitment. You can just go to Mayfairs and have 2 hours and that's it. So it's not a long-term commitment, but definitely helpful. So check those out on Serve Fresno, and that's where you'd sign up for them too. And so you'd go help load food into the back of people's cars.
Who is it that we would contact to give video services for? I think on the previous slide,
yeah, so
Yvette.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you can email yvette@lowellcdc.org.
Yeah, they're a great group. So CDC stands for Community Development Corporation. So Lowell is like the neighborhood just north of downtown, and one of the oldest historic neighborhoods in Fresno. Very diverse, and they are doing a lot of like resident work, housing. Great group of folks.
Got it. Thank you.
And then one other one you've probably already heard about from orientation, but just a reminder, if you are looking to get a good chunk of hours, you could help out at one of the learning hubs. And so those are in different, mostly churches across the city where kids come, they bring their laptop. You would see the other side of virtual learning, so you'd be with the kid on their end, and you're just help keep them focused on task, and lead potentially some little like spaced out activities as well. So that's a little more of a commitment, but if you could commit to like one morning a week for the rest of the semester, email me and we can chat about that. And Erica, you want to share about, I know you shared about Read Fresno a little earlier, but you want to share about the class on Thursdays?
Yeah, so I also, as part of coordinating Read Fresno, hosts a class on Thursday nights over Zoom. They're from 6 to 7:30 usually. And for the month of March and April, we will have other ENP staff members where you can hear from. And this would also be considered as your hours as well, since it's additional learning opportunities and equipping on what different things you can get involved with ENP, and also just to hear a little bit about the work that the staff members are involved with. that you might not be familiar with. You hear from Janessa and I a lot, but this would be a chance for you to hear from our other colleagues and their work. So if you're interested in joining one of those sessions, you can email me and I can send you the class information. Again, it's not mandatory. This is just an opportunity for you to learn. And again, it's a course that will be held for the rest of March and April. It will end April 29th. And if you would like to attend, you'll just need to join via Zoom.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, that ends my slides. A few minutes to spare. But yeah, we just appreciate, thank you all for taking time out of your week and out of your day to spend some time with some kids. And really, I know it's a big bright spot in their day. They all look up to you a lot, and you're providing a lot of emotional support and academic support. And so we just thank you so much for all you're doing for them.